Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about the part of fortune in astrology. Now, the part of fortune, it is an Arabic part or equation. It's not a planetary body or asteroid. I look at this like very comparable to Jupiter, but not quite as significant because it is not a planetary body. But at the same time, this could be a very advantageous in connection with the sign and the house placement that it is in. Now, in order to ascertain your part of fortune, for if you have your sun in the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th house, it is the ascendant plus moon minus the sun. And if your sun falls between the 1st and 6th houses, it's the ascendant plus sun minus moon. But don't worry, people, I'm going to provide a link in the video description for this, and you could have it automatically calculated for you on the computer on the program at the website. And you can also you will see I'm going to put a description as far as the calculation if you want to attempt to do it by hand, but I would recommend you go to the website and have it done automatically for you. Now, the part of fortune in a natal chart, it's a position that can indicate fortune in the person's chart, can be very fortuitous. It could be beneficial in matters pertaining to the sign and the house placement that it is in. Now, it could show where the person may prosper and flourish. Now, it's not always going to be of some monetary benefit or anything not with money all the time. Sometimes it can be, but it generally shows where the person might reap some kind of reward or get some kind of really prodigious benefit, and depending on the sign and the house placement. Now, in my chart, my part of fortune is in Gemini, and it is conjunct my second house, so it can indicate that perhaps through communicative ability to articulate very well, in showing versatility and certain variety, perhaps I can generate income by doing this, and showing adaptability in matters connected with earning income could be very favorable and auspicious to me. Now, the thing is, if we look at this, if the person has predominantly good aspects to their natal part of fortune, well, this could indicate that the person has a better chance of flourishing and thriving in matters connected with their part of fortune. They could get more favorability from perhaps the public, from the people around them in their environment. They're more accepting and perhaps get greater approval and approbation from these people in the process. And could make those matters connected with the part of fortune easier to attain. However, if the person has predominantly, let's say, adverse or negative aspects to their part of fortune, it doesn't necessarily mean that the person won't attain those things connected with their part of fortune position, but the person might have to work a little bit more laboriously and harder in order to attain those things connected with the position. Now, in my chart, my natal part of fortune makes a sextile aspect to my natal Venus. Now, this could indicate where things connected with relationships and money could be very favorable to me. Now, I have my Venus is in Leo in the 4th house, so you got to factor that into the equation in terms of how its impact may be in this particular aspect. And Venus in Leo in the 4th house can show perhaps maybe somebody that's trying to get exposure, notoriety, or attention from doing things perhaps in their home. And in this particular case, it makes the positive aspect to the part of fortune, which is connected with the Gemini and the communication. So perhaps it seems like there is a good blending for me as far as that aspect goes. Now, it's also important you can look at transits and progressions to your that involve your part of fortune. Now, someone by the name of Donald Trump. Now, he currently has transiting Jupiter conjunct his progressed part of fortune. And obviously, this could be very auspicious. It can be a time where it's favorable for him to indoctrinate others in his philosophy or indoctrinating his philosophy to others. It could be a time where he seems to win over people just through his general optimism, the fact that he can be very expansive at this time, his jocularity, his sense of humor, things of that nature, and the fact that you have Jupiter, which is really a very benign planet, and it's been called the Great Benefic for obvious reasons, and you have it making a conjunction to your progressed part of fortune. Obviously, that's a very positive position, and it also helps that right now, if I remember correctly, that Donald Trump has, in his progressed chart, he has all his planets on the top half of the chart, so it shows a very extroverted time for him right now, very gregarious, and he just completely out there with the public right now, and it seems to be very favorable for him. And this aspect is also in his progressed chart. Transiting Jupiter is hitting his progressed part of fortune in his 10th house in his progressed chart, which is connected with career and status and notoriety, public recognition. So it seems to fit him pretty well right now, I would say. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the part of fortune in astrology, and stay tuned next time where I'll be dissertating and talking about Aries part of fortune in a natal chart. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.